Cheers from Brazil. Welcome to FixerBrazil Podcast. My name is Tomás Cavalieri and I'm here with Renato Falzoni, my associate. Hi, Renato.
Hi, hello.
Together, we are going to interview film professionals from all over the world about the pleasures and challenges of filming in Brazil. And today we have in the show the journalist and documentary filmmaker Ludovic Fossard. Hi, Ludovic.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Thank you very much for joining us in FixerBrazil Podcast.
Thank you.
No problem.
Ludovic is a journalist and filmmaker. He's the co-founder of Découpages, a production company and press agency that produces content for television businesses and web players. He has also been working as a producer for Les Films de Traverse in Brittany, France. He's the director of a local community radio station with broadcast programs relating to rural and maritime territories. He has also worked at France 2, Arte and Voyage, before launching into independent production of magazines and documentaries. In Brazil, he has produced 2 episodes of the TV series People of the Seas for Arte Television and the documentary O Mundo que Ainda Não Foi, The World That Has Not Yet Been, in the Brazilian Amazon for the National Center of Scientific Research from France. He also wrote the books Become a Filmmaker and Meeting the People of the Seas. So Ludovic, I would like to ask you, how did you become a filmmaker to start?
At the beginning, when I was 18, something like that, I used to work for the newspaper, in a local newspaper, and at this time I wanted to integrate a school journalism, but it's quite difficult, and I managed to do that. And when I arrived in the school, I wanted to become a press journalist for the newspaper, not for television, because it was not my world, and it seems to me at this time very, very far from where I came, because my family, my mother is a nurse and my father is an architect, and nobody's has connection with the television world. So it was just something very maybe weird and maybe amazing. And I just wanted to know what happens in the television system. So at school, I tried to use a camera, but I don't know why, because for a long time ago, I used to make some photograph, and when I was something like 80 or 10 years ago, 10 years, something very young, I used to make a photograph by myself. And when I took at this time the camera, I was a good level, very, very. It was easy for me to use the camera. So at this time, I thought it was possible for me to integrate the television, because I have this skill, and it seems to be interesting to work with that and to improve my level by school and by experimentation.
So you never been to film school? You were journalism school?
Yes. At the beginning, I was in journalism school, and after during these studies, I've got some skill to use the camera, and after that, when I went to the television redaction, I used the camera, because I've got the level at school for that.
And you did a couple of projects related to people of the seas, the oceans around the world. Let us know a little bit some of the places where I have visited in the world. I know I have been to many places.
Oh, it's quite difficult because for people of the sea, we have made something like 30 different destinations around the world. So 2 in Brazil, but everywhere outside. And we went to Asia, of course, plenty of time, Australia, America, and Africa, plenty of time. I don't know, I can't make the list. It's quite long.
Is there a place of this, so many places in the world you visit, that is your favorite place that you filmed?
Yes, Brazil.
Why is that?
No, it was interesting, the film we has made in Brazil, because we went to Bela, you remember? We met
Yeah, for sure.
we met a very small community who wants to be independent, and they didn't want to be connected with the town, and they wanted to be like in the past without to get modern life, and no problem with tourists, and they don't want to be surrounded by tourists. So they decide to live alone, and it was very interesting to see how it's possible to resist at the modernity. So yes, it was a quite good story, I think, we have made at this place.
And for this project, we worked together doing the research of characters, the scout in advance before you come to Brazil. Actually, the first place we went was to Prainha do Canto Verde to film the Jangadeiros, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
I want to step back and to ask you about not only Brazil, but other places you film all over the world. How do you prepare for the shooting? You usually hire local fixers, producers to scout. Why is that important?
To make this kind of documentary on so many documentaries, we need to have a connection with people directly involved in the country, because it's impossible to send, because we don't have enough money to send one man from Paris just to check if everything is okay, and after that he can come back, and after that he can go back with a camera and a team and everything. It's too much expensive. So that's very important to have a very trustful relation with fixer or scout, or I don't know the name you want, and that's the main point to manage to do that kind of documentaries, because if you don't have this connection, it's too much difficult to know where it's possible to film, and to know if you have a good relationship with the people on the field. So that's the best way in my mind. So usually to prepare this kind of documentary, you have people, journalists and young journalists in redaction at Paris, and they get some information about what kind of destination where we can go, and after that we get a relationship with someone on the field in the country, like you, and you make a connection. You get the connection between you and the journalist and the rest of the team, and the fixer prepare the shooting, and they check if it's possible to find some kind of characters, and is it good or not, and what about the landscape, and what kind of relationships they get, they are happy or not to receive a TV team and something like that. And the fixer write a piece of paper with plenty of information a synopsis like that, and we check together if it's good or not, if the sequences are good or not enough accurate, I don't know. And after that, we send the synopsis to the channel, and the channel say yes or no. It's a good idea, and you can do it like that, or it's a good idea, but you have to improve this point or this point because the issue isn't very clear, or something like that. And when we have the agreement of the channel, we send the team, and we make the shooting.
And you work with smaller teams, right? When you came to Brazil, you came in 3 or 4 people. How do you put together the team to film?
Yes, because in my company, we used to do like that. We don't use to make very big documentaries with plenty of people. We want to get a very good connection with the people on the field, and that means we don't want to be with a very important team with plenty of people. So usually we shoot with one filmmaker and maybe one assistant, and it doesn't matter, or someone to make the presentation, and people we met, and that's all.
Of these more than 30-40 countries you visited, is there a place you thought, oh, it was too hard, something didn't work right, or a story you can tell us about, like, the challenges of filming abroad?
During my life and professional life, I've never failed a film, never. At each time, I found the story, the character, the situation, the sequences, even when the situation was very badly involved at the beginning. So you can imagine, from time to time you arrive in one country, and you see the character, and they don't want to be filmed, and I don't know, the journalist who has prepared the film says something very, it was like fake news, something very, very false, and you arrive and it's not the reality. So you have to find another reality, and you have to find the film, and plenty of time I've made the film. That's because I don't have any other choice.
Failing is not an option.
Yes, failing
when
is
you're
not
filming.
That's a very important point. If someone decides to engage you like a filmmaker in a foreign country, that's it's because he's very sure you can get something. If not, he doesn't want to send you.
I would like to share some footage from behind the scenes of our first work together here in Brazil, and then you can comment a little bit your memories from this first shooting with the Jangadeiros in Fortaleza, close to Fortaleza, Prainha do Canto Verde. So this was in the northeast of Brazil, in Prainha do Canto Verde, which is a natural reserve. How was filming there? You remember the city is in the sand, and there we met a family, and we're filming the Jangadeiros, and they go like 70 kilometers from the coast to fish, and you're filming their story. So why did you choose these people to film?
They have a very special connection with the sea, because they used to go very far, like you have said just before. They used to go very far in the ocean with only this small boat, like we can see it. Just a very small boat, just with one sail, and it's very uncomfortable. and you can see here. You can sleep inside. That's possible to sleep inside the boat, even it's very very tiny, and that's interesting for the program to have this kind of people working on getting a connection like that with the sea in a very amazing small little boat.
And we are filming also in this area in a big lagoon where they have like the small jangada that they play. We had a beautiful sequence of the family going there to have some time together, right?
They try to improve their skill on the lake, and that the drone at this time it was not now. You remember, it was the beginning of the drone, not really the beginning, but it's not now you can use the drone all the time. So now at this time, maybe 7 years ago, I don't know, I don't remember.
7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago. Yeah, it was almost the beginning of the drone thing. It was like a show on the beach.
When I look at this film that we just saw, I think about the people of the sea, the culture. Do you think there's something that unite all the peoples of the sea from all over the world? Do you think there's something in common that they have?
Not really with the culture. It's difficult to say that because the culture is always different. But the real link, maybe it's always very, maybe except in Bela, but that's the exception. But it's always very, very, very difficult for them to keep in life their way of living because they live in poverty and they can't get very strong connection with the society. So that means they live in the edge of the world. So it's a way of living very threatened by everything. By the modern life and even the politics and the economy, and I think maybe it's last time it's possible to film them because in 10 years or 20 years everybody will be disappear because that's impossible to live like that for a long time. It's too much difficult and because it's not it's very the real life. It's not for tourism and it's not, that's not an organization to greet the population from abroad and to play some rules about I don't know what, but it's very, very they live like that, and that's a poor life and very difficult life, and that means it's difficult to keep this life for a long time in the future. I think
it's a type of culture that it's close to the end. So you're filming probably the last people that represent the real connection that people have to the sea, right?
Yes, right.
And you said Ilha Bela may be an exception because they're very isolated and they live in the park, which is a natural reserve. Maybe we can see the images. And
in Ilha Bela, they decide to live like that. So they live like that because they choose to live like that. So that's quite difficult. Those were quite different because in plenty of time, usually they don't choose to live like that. They live like that because it's their life and their family and the connection they have with the world. And, but it's, the life for them is very hard and very, very difficult. But in Ilha Bela, it's different because they don't want to be involved in the modern life. So,
but it's interesting It's interesting, Ludovic, because in Ilha Bela, I have been following them after the shooting, and there I met Adriano, which was my point of contact to get to know the fishermen that we were filming. And Adriano is like the one who connects them to the market or the cities to sell their fish. So it's very interesting because they have a project now called Projeto Mar Project, Sea Project, and where they sell very good and then fresh fish, because as they use that technique of the circo that we're gonna see right now in the images, they have this product that is very fresh, and they have a added value, for their product. So maybe it's possible for them to keep this way of life, but still sell their products to good restaurants here in São Paulo, for example.
And you remember, it was maybe one of the first time we met some population who gets so many fish in the net. You remember that? It was a little bit amazing, because when they decide to fish and to get off the net, so you have inside the net maybe 1,000 and 1,000 fish. Usually when you travel like that with a fisherman around the world, that's never the case. Usually they don't have fish, only 1, 2, 3, no, plenty of fish, and it was quite amazing there.
Ilha Bela seems to be like the image of the tropical paradise, right? Look at it. Looks like a scene from a movie or something.
Yes, for the picture, it's like paradise. But when you are on the beach, in the village, you have plenty of little fly sticking your legs all the time, and it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, we call it borrachudos.
Borrachudos, yes.
Yeah, the tiny fly, yeah.
Yeah, so there you came by yourself. That's you arriving at the island for the first time. And you were filming and producing, directing, everything. And these are the fishermen with this technique that's brought from Japan, if I'm not wrong, which is called the circo. They have a very tiny net, and they get the fish is alive. There you are.
You can see they have plenty of fish. So that's very amazing to see that.
And also they can select some fishes that they cannot fish, or even turtles, like they are doing now, releasing the turtle, which is not stuck in the net, right? When you film by yourself, alone, I mean, with no camera operator, just you in the field, is something that you like to do, or only when you don't have the budget for this?
No. I like to do that because you are free, and that's easier. That means it's a little bit tiring, but it's very interesting because you follow the story in your head, and that means that's easier maybe to film what you need to make the story, rather than to speak to someone and to explain to him how he has to film the situation, because it's better like that or like that. If you do it by yourself, you can do exactly what you have in your mind. So that's interesting. It's maybe from time to time it's difficult, but because it's quite heavy, the equipment, and it's quite tiring, and you have to make a lot of choice by yourself, so you can't share the decision with someone, and it could be a little bit difficult for that, but it's very interesting because you can follow your own story, and that's quite better. I like to do that, but I used to do that too.
We're doing this podcast. We want to share this experience with other producers that may be coming to film abroad or in Brazil especially. What advice would you give to other producers that want to film abroad, but they don't have the experience that you have? Can you give like some tips or advice on European producers that want to film abroad documentary?
Abroad or in Brazil?
Well, in Brazil or abroad, both. Both.
Abroad, you have to take the time. That's mean if you it's very difficult because when you arrive in abroad another country, the way of living of the population usually, and especially like this kind of documentary with the folk in the village and in the remote area. That's obviously it's not the way of living like us in the big town. So that means you can't arrive in this kind of place with all the wish you have in your head. That means if you want to do that like this, and if you don't have the time to do that, and you have to oblige the people to go faster or something like that, it doesn't work. The reality is you have to be very patient, and you have to take the time to listen what the people want to do and want to show you and want to explain to you, and you have to trust them. That's and if you have at the same level of them, that's very easier to manage your film. But if you arrive with your point of view, and you want to impose, I don't know if that's the name, if you want to oblige the people to follow your wish, it don't work. So that you have to be patient, and it's not always easy because you have the pressure of the production and you have to make the film, but that's important to be very quite calm and don't show to your guests that you are worried, for example.
There is always this conflict because we come from the big city with our ideas, our budget, our schedule, and they have a different life and a different expectation. So it's always difficult to arrange that. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm gonna play another short clip, and we can talk a little bit more about this filming with the Caiçaras.
In Brazil, that's very funny because usually when you arrive in Africa, everybody wants to get money, and they want to know if you can engage the cuisine and the people, and if you have money to do that and so on. But when you arrive, and it's always from time to time, it's difficult to film the people because they don't want to be filmed and they want money to be filmed and something like that. You have to fight to get pictures. But in Brazil, it's not the case. And that's because it's very easy to film the people, and the people used to be independent, and they don't want really your money, and they don't ask you plenty of questions. They do what they used to do without you, and if you want to follow them, you follow them, but if you don't want, you do whatever you want. That's quite different for that. It's much more difficult to to see to the Brazilian population that could you do something for me, and could you take your time to do that? They don't want really to do that. They have their work to do, and if you want to follow them, you follow them. But if you want to arrange the situation, they don't like really to do that. Generally, it doesn't matter. It depends of the population, of course.
And for this project with the Caiçaras, we were filming them like building a canoe
in the forest.
In the forest from one, which was challenging. We had to find a tree that had fallen to film that. This is the trunk. Marc Thiercelin, who is the host of the show, and this is the guy starting the work. And then we're gonna see after, I think 4 or 5 days, to getting ready, and then we had to bring it to the beach, right?
That's very difficult to do, a boat like that.
Very difficult.
You have to get a good eye. And it was very hot, remember?
Hot and humid, and the
forest.
The mosquitoes in the forest.
Not like in Amazonia, but they used to make the boat like that because they have to fight against the waves. So that's a very good shape to cross the wave when they get out the beach. That's I think we can. Yes, you can see it on this picture. That's very, very difficult to cross the wave to go to the ocean.
You had this partnership with Marc Thiercelin, the host of the show. Tell me a little bit about him.
Marc was a very famous sailor in France because he won a very big sail race during his life. And at this time, when we decided to make these documentaries, he didn't have plenty of work, so he was available to do that. And we proposed him to participate to this documentary and to be to meet the people around the world. And he said, it's quite interesting because in my life, usually I take the boat to cross the ocean, but I don't have enough time to stop and to meet them on the beach. So for the first time, maybe I can go in the place which I used to see from my boat from the ocean. But with this documentary, I can go directly on the beach, on the field, and I can meet the people. That's why he decided to participate to this documentary. And I think he did well. So it was interesting because even if he didn't speak the language of the people, he can make some connection with the culture of the sea and explaining what kind of boat they have, what kind of relationship with the sea they have, and it was a sailor language.
He is from the sea too, right?
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And also for the Brazilian episodes, as he had lived in Brazil, you remember he speaks a little bit of Portuguese.
Yes, that's right. Mm-mm-mm. When he was young. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which helped him to interact with the people. And he's a very funny character, very nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe about the gear, I saw you work with the Canon. Do you prefer smaller cameras? How do you prefer to work with film cameras?
No, I work with FX9, Sony FX9. Yes. That's my camera at the present time. And that's the main camera, but as you know, we use plenty of different cameras. So that's I use GH5, I use Sony, and what else? Drone, and which one? I have a Panasonic S1 each. Huh? Is that?
Yes,
I think so.
we know that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one, and we use that, and that's it's just a question of situation. From time to time, you need this kind of camera, and from time to time, another one, and that's you have to do the mix all the time. That's why from time to time it's complicated with the battery and the connection and card.
And where can people follow your work online today?
Do you have social media?
Yeah.
Not really. Just a little bit, but I have just some picture of it, but it's a little bit with les films de traverse. You can see it, or Découpages, but everything is not online, and it's difficult for me to have time to put everything, and it takes too much time to do that.
Renato, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of FixerBrazil Podcast. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope to see you in the future, maybe in Brazil or in France, who knows?
Yes, I hope to.
Whenever you're around, please give us a shout and we can meet, have a coffee.
Okay.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of FixerBrazil Podcast. And if you want to film in Brazil and you are in Brazil, contact us. We love to help. We'll see you in the future episodes. Bye-bye.